I'll take your man.
Oh yeah, it's your girl Racqui B, and you're not locked into 100.9 FM of the Rundown. KD, I'll take your man.
No, you ain't taking my man.
I'll take your man.
I was just talking about my man. Listen, honey.
So your man just announced he's retiring.
He's retiring.
After the season.
So I'm going to try and focus on this show. However, my mind is on my man and making sure I meet him for his last dance.
Why are you in love with a married man? That's messed up.
Because I want him for different reasons.
Okay.
I don't want him like that. That's just my idol. That's someone I've always looked up to. That's someone that I've always appreciated. I was a basketball star. I was a basketball player.
You're right.
A point guard?
Point guard.
Okay.
Point guard. You know, so it's just
and
a different
respect. So I just want y'all to know that I met KD back in high school on the basketball court.
And
she was aight.
That's why I looked at her. I was like, you can't
I was
check
a monster. The beast back there, you know. Oh, AGR, I was a monster. Natalie was out there cheerleading playing basketball.
Yo, come on, don't do me.
No, can we tell the people how you've been like a stalker stan right now for Dwayne? Like you hit up his publicist, his wife.
I wrote his publicist, his wife, his stylist.
How did you even find
exactly?
But we gotta think. I've been following him for 13 years now.
Wow.
I'll tell you everything about Dwayne Tyrone Wade Jr.
Wow.
And but I'm just excited that it's his farewell, and I'm gonna get there. So
yes.
We'll get off to that and talk about the subject at hand, but I just need y'all to know my mind is in Miami.
Yeah. That's KD, and I'm gonna call you the community activist. Is that okay?
That's fine.
I think you deserve that title.
That's what a lot of people
you
call
deserve
me.
that right now.
Sometimes I want to get ratchet and hood, but
it's okay.
I
You know, we know your heart. We know your heart.
Right,
That's all that matters.
That's another jack of all trades.
Right. Exactly. And I also have the commissioner of the school board. Yeah. The commissioner of the school board, NATALIE SHEPPARD, in the building.
Hey, everybody.
Hey. Listen, now you know we're going to talk about. It's been the biggest topic in the community since the weekend. There was a big brawl at the East versus Wilson football game. Okay? And I know you two, I had to get you two at the same time because timing is everything. Because I've been trying to get you on, but I didn't know why and when I should have, get you on. And this is perfect. So I know you guys did a live, and that live on Facebook it was crazy. The hits were crazy. I didn't get to watch it because I always have my baby in my arms and I don't want to wake him up, and I'm like, I know Katie's going to be talking something crazy and he's going to wake up and be like, who's Katie? And so I want to address, can you guys address give me some, what's the word I'm looking for? Some bullets on what was discussed in the live.
Yeah, so basically what we wanted to do was come to an area where we can reach a lot of people in a little bit of time. So instead of calling everybody out to a meeting, we wanted to use social media, since that platform is well used amongst people. Not necessarily, I would say our elders, but people that are our age, 30s and under. We wanted to really take it to their quote unquote playing field. So that's why we decided to do a live. Some of the points that we touched on was giving an overview, because both me and KHADIJA were at the game. We were right in the mix.
You guys were at the game.
Yes. Okay. And KHADIJA was actually out there filling in as I would say a fill-in security guard. So when everything started going down, her instinct was to start separating kids and making sure kids were safe. So what we did was we gave an overview for people who may not have seen any of the videos, haven't read the news. We wanted to let them know what we saw at the game, and then we also wanted to give them a call to action to say what we saw was just not acceptable. Right. And then to hopefully have us come together. The first thing is definitely unity. So we wanted to make sure everybody was on the same page. Okay. And then our call to action was what would be the next steps.
Okay. So I wasn't at the game. Okay. So can you, what happened? Was it a single person?
No. It was a brawl. So, everyone was enjoying the game. It was over 1,500 people. It's a beautiful day out. And we were just having a good time. We were on the floor. Natalie, myself, and a few others was on like the ground floor. We wasn't in the bleachers, but we look up and we see about 30 kids fighting. So we couldn't even react instantaneously because it was just like, is this really happening? Like, I mean, brawling. So, security is going up and police is heading over and things of that nature. And you see cats jumping around, trying to get over. We run to the fight instead of run away from the fight. So then you got that going on, and then simultaneously you have a bunch of kids fighting now on this side of the stadium. So it's like, oh my gosh. So our first niche was when they were so close to us, myself, Greg, and Macho. We just jumped. We were talking. We were in middle of conversation. We just jumped up and ran and started like breaking up fights and and just trying to get everybody separate. But they're still fighting up here. Now they're fighting down here. Now, and I'm not saying like 2 people fighting, like 25 people fighting, and multiple components of the arena. And so we were able to calm that down. You have people running out now because, now they're taking a fight outside of the arena or whatever. So, we were able to calm it down after about 20, 30 minutes. Right. They took a little break. They were going to call the game, but, it kind of smoothed itself over. But it was still only the second half of the event. It was like 5 minutes left in the game for the second half.
For the second quarter.
For the second quarter. So we sitting down and we're talking and we're like, listen, by this time RPD is here, SWAT, all of that stuff is here. They're mobilizing the streets, blocking off so no one can come in, no one can go out. There's still a line to get in there, like y'all not getting in, so you might as well leave. Right. So we're sitting there and the game is going on and we're back having a good time, good game, touchdown, boom, boom, boom. I look at the clock and I said, please don't break at halftime. They just broke for 30 minutes. If you break at halftime, it's going to be a brawl. They've seen who they wanted to see. They know who are in the crowds. I'm speaking of the teens. They know who are in the crowds. If we break, we might as well end this game. Halftime come. We hear the whistle. The first thing we did was get up and go to the exit because we knew it was about to go down.
Wow.
As soon as we got over there, we see them coming out the bleachers swinging. Pop, 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 pop. So now it's crazy. Now they're fighting inside the gate and outside the gate. The police is there to try to mobilize it, but it's too many fights.
Right.
It's too many fights. So this is where, we're grabbing people, we're separating them, and then we're looking and we see I see parents like fighting with the kids and are telling their kids they better beat them up and blah, 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 or adults. I don't know if it's parents. I'll say adults. So it's really just disheartening, I will say the least. It took about 45 minutes to an hour to disseminate all of that, to get them dispersed, to get them going their own ways. And of course the ripple effect was later on. You will see, we don't know for sure if those flights that was happening on Flynn and all those other places were because of that, but we can only imagine and assume because of the ripple effect that happened. They still have to get home, so it's going to expand outside the arena. But yeah, that's it in a nutshell.
Wow.
But the initial thing I want to say is people were enjoying themselves. It was family. You have Pop Warner teams. Really, this is where they want to get up to. This was like the Super Bowl for two high school teams.
Right. Are there rival teams?
They're rival. They're the best.
This is a big game. This
and
is
they
big
have
game. And
two of the
recruiters
most.
were there.
Yep,
right?
They have 2 of the biggest recruits in the city of Rochester. There were like 4 D1 schools there.
Oh no.
And they was walking out like, yo, they were fighting in his session. He was running. Like they were walking out and I'm like, yo, y'all got and then the news was there to highlight the game because of the nature, but now they're highlighting us looking like animals. So, it was really disheartening. It was really sad. And it was really like, wow, we got to work harder.
Yes.
We got to work harder.
And I had to commend you because your first instinct, when that first fight happened, when the first brawl happened, your instinct was to go and separate them.
Yeah.
Most people would be like, oh no, I'm out
a lot of people
the door.
did. Yeah.
And your first instinct was, how do you get to that point where that's your first instinct? Because I'm thinking I'm going to the table.
When this has been your lifelong passion, I've worked with kids my whole life. Yeah. When this is your lifelong passion and you see you've had kids that's died to violence. You have kids that you've seen going through hell that normally we couldn't fathom, so let alone a 6-year-old going through something like that. Your first instinct is to get these kids to safety.
Right.
I didn't even think about myself. I hurt my hand. We had to go to urgent care and pop my hand back in place. So I didn't think about myself, and I'm just like, but at the end of the day, it was just like, yo, we gotta figure this out. We cannot let this happen because something dangerous is gonna happen. Of course, you heard about the stabbings and stuff like that of the kids, but from the outskirts of how it looked, it could have been much worse.
Yes.
It could have been. I'm not okay with a couple kids going to jail and a stabbing here, but I'm okay that nobody was shot. I'm okay that it wasn't gunplay. You know, you don't ever want to say we're accepting, because that's not it. I will make that clear. We're not accepting that behavior, but I'm glad it didn't go to the next level.
Right.
You know, I'm glad what's the norm for us is we hear violence and murder.
Right.
I'm glad we were able to detain it enough so that it didn't. Now we've seen some of that.
Right.
There was some items, some weapons. We've seen some of that, but thank God it didn't go to the next level.
So what do you have to say to the people that say, well, when we were growing up, we fought. This is normal. We fought. Like, what do you have to say to that? Because obviously the way the community is reacting, we're reacting like it's not normal. For those that are trying to normalize this behavior, like, oh, we fought when we were growing up. What can you say to that?
So for me, I think that is really great, the response that the community is having, whether it's we're saying it's not normal or we're fed up, or even, you know, I know that we as younger kids, we fought. I've seen fights before. I've been in fights before at a young age. But the things that I saw on Saturday, it just really took it to another level. I don't know if it's because now I'm an adult, or now that I have children, so I think about things differently when I see a fight. But it was a total disregard for anything around. It was just completely out of control. I felt like it was at the next level. So when I'm hearing people saying, you know, trying to normalize it, we should be going in the opposite direction. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know, so.
Right. And how much of this can we attest to bad parenting?
Good on that, because they was going in on us. But and to piggyback off, we fought at the Step Jam. We fought, right? But we fought. We fought, and it ended. You know, and we may have fought outside of the bus stop, but it ended, right? We didn't fight and go get a gun. We didn't fight and stab you up. We didn't fight and show up at your house, and our mamas wasn't out there fighting with us.
Right.
By the time your mama found out that she was beating you.
It was a
Right.
rap.
We didn't. I heard out of my mouth, if you don't beat Day, I'm gonna beat you.
Yeah.
At the
Shut
event,
up.
from
Wow.
a parent to a child. So I get that we fought. You know, I was never a fighter. I was a good girl. I was a sports player, you know, church girl. People don't know that, but I never was really a fighter or anything like that. But I seen the fights, you know, but it was just more so like, listen, we fought. Everybody do that. Every generation. But what goes on after the fight is what's not normal now.
That's
Right.
What's not normal now is like, okay, now we shooting.
Right.
And I also want to talk about how things started and what the kids did that I feel is a little bit different than when we grew up.
Okay.
So we have kids that are in what we would call a rival gang. And they were sitting up in the stands literally next to each other. So, you got two gangs that are rivals sitting in the same row, sitting right seat next to seat. And in one of the videos that I saw that's floating around on Facebook, they were sitting right next to each other. They're throwing up two different gang signs, and then the fight happened. So they literally are sitting next to each other. Like, that type of thinking and that type of mentality, I just feel is completely different. And I know Esther, she like, oh, let me get on the mic, cause
Now, if we didn't like each other, I'm gonna sit over here because I don't even want to be in the same area.
Right. So they came with the intentions to.
That's
Oh,
right.
they planned
But
it.
now,
Oh yeah.
Oh, this stuff be going on
But that's the
Snapchat,
thing.
Facebook, and they
That's the thing.
plan
We
it.
didn't
It's a
have
meetup
social media
location.
back then.
Right.
But now it's social media and they recording immediately.
Yep.
We used to break it up.
Yep.
If that's not me fighting and I know, listen, cut it up, girl.
Exactly.
You don't wanna go through that.
Get y'all fighting and leave.
No, now
Right.
they recording, laughing, and then
And
you
they-
gotta really
you-
put a show on because you're getting
One
recorded.
girl hair came off, they shooting the hair in and everybody laughing in the crowd. Now she's embarrassed because her
Right.
ponytail came up, you know, and stuff like that. So now she mad and her
Now she
friends
has to
mad
fight.
again.
Now
Now
they
they gotta
gotta
fight
fight
again.
again.
Right.
Now you gotta fight for blood.
And I also gotta talk about how they feel about police. So like when police came around, everything shut down, or you running, you trying to get away. They
Now,
were
they
they
trying
were
to fight
standing
the
right
police.
next to them talking junk. Well, you know, one of the young men that I saw, we were trying to get him help, and the police was trying to calm him down so that the EMT could get the water in his eyes. And he was just saying, why y'all mace me? Because I was beating his A. Why y'all mace me? And he was just acting crazy. I'm like, you're talking to a police officer right
You're
now.
indicting yourself.
Yes, like,
Have a little
it was unbelievable.
See,
what I saw.
the thing that I hear when people say, yes, we used to do the same thing, but if there's one thing we always used to know is that once cops came,
That's
it
right.
was time,
Yes.
it was time for you to
For
go.
authority
Why?
now.
Because everybody was going to jail
You
back
talk-
in the
bro.
day.
Yes.
As soon as you hear the sirens, we hear.
They don't care.
Yes.
Okay.
They just sitting there with the cops like, what you gonna do? And then the
Correct.
cops looking like, I don't know what to
And
do.
now you're taunting
You know?
them. And
But to normalize, you're talking about the parents, right? And I'm speaking adults and parents. To normalize it, as young people, we respected adults.
Right.
We wouldn't curse in front of them.
Yes.
We wouldn't, you know, there are certain things we wouldn't do. Nowadays,
They so disrespectful.
kids will be in the middle of the hallway, F you, this, be that, da-da-da-da-da, they cursing and stuff like that. Like, we did our thing amongst our peers.
Right.
We never disrespected an adult.
Right.
Nowadays, they don't care. They walk past a grown person and suck
they
my...
walk across the street talking junk.
Yes.
Like, hurry up. Like,
Yes.
It's a green light.
So, but because our parents didn't allow that.
Right.
Our parents...
It starts at home.
It starts at home, and we can never blame parents. Because I was talking to a lady called me. She was a little bit flustered with our live, and she's a good I don't have too many friends, but she's a person that I know, and she called and she was
If you heard that, you're not her
awkward.
friend. You're not her friend. If you just heard that, you are
But
not her friend.
she's the one that I really engage with and really like, right? I don't like to maybe.
So what you think about me?
So
She just told you.
she called me and she was like, listen, I felt offended that y'all talking about parents. She was offended. And I said, we're not talking about parents. We're talking about adulthood as a whole. How, you know, if I got in trouble on the street and a neighbor saw it, they got permission to beat me and then tell my mama gonna beat me. But we look away, we shun away from as adults. Now we allow the behavior to happen and we look away, like we shy away until it's your child.
Right.
And then now it's a problem. Now, and I don't have any children, so I can't speak for, you know, but I have, the community is my kids. I have nieces, nephew, got kids, but now because little Bobo got beat up, now you care. But when little Bobo cousin was beating somebody up and you had the adult to stop, you had the power to stop him and you let him go on, you didn't care. But now you care. So it's not to say and then parents change. You have a lot of single parent households, so you have parents that's working 8 to 8.
That's right.
They don't, and you say they don't come to the PT. When? They working because they got to take care of their children.
Right.
They're a single parent household. They have to do whatever. So it's not the blame to say they don't want to be there. Some of them don't. But there's a lot who can't be there because of circumstances. Right. So that's why it's us as a community to begin to partner with the parents, to begin to partner with the district, the city, the rec centers, and every component in Rochester to really hone in and bring it together as a community initiative.
Right. So how much of it do you attest to fear? Because as a parent, I would not break up a fight because I have a fear for my life because how these fights escalate. So it could also be the fear of breaking up that would cause a parent to fall back.
Yeah, and you know, we had that discussion too while we were there. So I had my 7-year-old with me. And even though we were all sitting around on the floor, you know, talking junk to each other, and when the fights broke out and the stands were looking like, dang, you know, the security getting there, and then when it spilled down onto the floor where we were at, I immediately grabbed my daughter and I grabbed one of my staff's son and I took them right onto the field. So I took them away from anything that could cause harm to them, and I made sure that I stayed with them in case it came over to their way, so I can protect them. And we were talking about grown people standing around, and why aren't you jumping in, breaking it up? And you know, I was trying to let them know that same thing. Everybody ain't built for
everybody not.
Right.
You don't expect everybody
and
to
those
build.
boys, I'm telling you, they're young, their adrenaline is growing. If you ain't never been in a fight or you don't know what you're doing, yes, you're gonna be fearful. But the issue that we had was with adults who not only stood around but then took their phones out and started recording or taking pictures so that they can post it on their social media. Having fear is one thing, but then adding to that with nonsense, come on now.
Exactly. Like I get it, everybody ain't a giant.
That's
you know?
right.
Some people are lions, some people
I know. And
are
there's nothing
sheep.
wrong
I'm
with
a
that.
sheep.
There's
Listen,
nothing wrong with that.
Right.
If people really knew me,
let's make that clear.
Listen, if people really knew the real KHADIJA, my personality brings me to the light. I like the back. I like to be in the back. You know, I don't like interviews. I don't like stuff like that. She pretty much like, you better come. I told her no. I don't want to do. I've gotten several news calls, several radio. You know, like
thank
no,
you for coming. I appreciate
you know,
it.
but
Thank you.
but I just can't sit back in certain instances. That's just never my forte. You know, my personality and my vibrantness and stuff bring me to a forefront of a spotlight. But in actuality, I be cringing. Do you want to do the news? How many times I tell the news no? No, I don't. You know, no, this, whatever. Kaya tell you, he done seen, you know, I'm like, I don't want to talk to them. My first back to school event, they was there. My pastor, even if you know, but there is certain instances like this where I'm willing to stand.
Right.
I'm ready to be that boldness. Right. And I'm a firm believer in God. Listen, when I step out in boldness, I believe God is stepping with me.
Right.
You know, so therefore it's like, this is a mission for me. This is no longer a play game. This is now a mission. This has become my baby. This is what I believe my calling is. So more so, it's like I'm gonna step out and you get a little nervous because these kids is crazy. Right. But I feel I'm covered and I'm protected. Right. So I'm gonna continue to do the work. And if it take me to get knocked down a couple times, guess what? If I could save 1 or 2 kids, I'm with it.
Right. Yeah. So how do you guys feel about doing a workshop for parenting?
Well, we already on that.
Oh.
We on that. We got so many things.
I know you have an event coming on, Guidance. What is it?
Guiding the Greatness.
Guiding the Greatness. Mentorship program. What do you have in store for that?
Yeah, so when we're talking about parent workshops, I mean, one of the gaps that we see or areas of improvement is really getting the parents that actually need the workshop. Mm-hmm. So filling up the workshop is no problem, but it's typically the ones that need to be in the room, that need to hear. How do we get them to come, fill up those seats? So we're working on some different strategies that will really appeal to people that will make them want to come, and really make them have a vested interest. And I think, and I just have to shout you out, Racqui, because when we're talking about younger people, and when I'm saying younger, I just want everybody to know I'm talking about in 30s and under. When we have people in that age bracket really taking on like social justice issues like this, it really speaks volumes to where we're going. A lot of times we talk about the mantle being passed from generation to generation, and I feel like with us taking that up, that might actually encourage more parents to come out, because they're like, okay, I can relate to you. She ain't too far gone from what I've been
our age group.
Through. That's
it's our age group that's egging this on.
That's right.
Our age group that are parents right now. So at the end of the day, like, we need whatever I need to do.
Yeah. And you hear, so, we were on live yesterday and we had consistent about 175 consistently watching for the hour, and we could have went another hour, and they were tuned in. We had 800 comments. We could, I've been trying to go back and read some of them. It's going to take some time. Natalie looked at me after like, you told them Friday. We going to need more time than that. I was like, you know what? We can put up a post, you know what I'm saying? But we are looking for people to join, but, because we already are busy. Listen, I got a company outside of this, and we're getting ready to launch our school, and we'll
I was just thinking about that. I was looking at you feeling all guilty. I'm like, everybody keeps saying, what's the solution? It's more than just parenting. Yeah. Because I got 2 older ones and then I got a 7-year-old. So it's like people would say, yes, it's been going on for a long time. But it's gotten worse. The reason why it's gotten worse because of social media. Everybody's posting everything and nobody wants to look embarrassed. Everybody's trolling each other, and some people have more mouth than fight. Right. And then other people is about that life. Yep. So you keep talking. Yeah. They're gonna jump. And eventually everybody's gonna meet up at a place, and then you got parents that's doing the same thing, because you see the same things in the nightclubs at night, and that's the point of
modeling behavior.
Right.
And
this is the point, that is, you're showing your kids the same thing, and then eventually these kids are going to get older, and eventually they're going to want to step over you too. Right. So you got to understand, you telling these kids, oh, you better do this, you better do that. Yeah, you got to remember, you setting yourself up for failure, because they're going to jump all over you, and you're going to be calling, looking for the cops to come and try to control them. And the cops going to be looking at you like, yeah, I know you. You egged this along. They're gonna leave it alone. Right. And right now it seems like we're fighting with the cops. It's us against the cops now. All the stuff's been going on in the news with with cops killing our young black kids. So now that's their mentality now. Like, you're out to get me anyway, so I'm gonna get you before.
And when you acting
me.
like this, why would they not?
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And the one thing, we have a good chief, Lorraine. We have a chief, Laron. Who's really good in the community. He shows up to most of the initiatives that's going on, but
Laron Singletary.
So it's more so like partnership. This is the only way this is going to happen. Collaboration, community collaborations. KHADIJA YAWN can't do it. Racqui can't do it. Esther can't do it. Nobody can do it. We have to really work together. It has to be a collective thing, and we got to put our pettiness aside. Right. Listen, we are the most. I'm petty, and we are the most pettiest people. Esther's petty. We are.
Who is we? I need a head count.
We are some. When we get in our feelings, we're petty, and we our emotions get the best. You're human, right? But we're modeling behavior. So I think about just I'm gonna take it down a notch. We talk about parenting to kids. Let's take it down a notch. We had high school football players with Pop Warner players. Pop Warner players looking at the high school football players as role models. Don't even need to be an adult. Yeah. High school football players as role models. This is where I want to be, but this is what it takes to get there. as a 6-year-old, as a 7-year-old, as an 8-year-old trying to get into high school playing sports, right? So come down a notch. Come down a notch. And it's like, okay, but we have to attack it from the core. One person asked me, who first, kids or parents? Both. There is not a first. We have to have a group that's attacking the parents, and we have to have a group that's attacking the young people. Both. Because once we get the parents straight and the young people still lost, now they fighting with their kid, you know what I'm saying? So you have to attack it at the core, and you have to attack it simultaneously. Parents and kids. So, you know, it's just really building that bridge and really getting it together and really going at it together. One and one.
And that's an important point, because at the end of the day, the kids are gonna do what ultimately their choice. And so for me, I think we have to give people options. I mean, if their only choice is they feel like they gotta validate themselves by fighting because, one, we have not done all that we could to get them in their education correctly or to give them an outlet of extracurricular activities, we gotta step in and take some of that ownership as well as adults of what are we providing to our kids that is another option for them. I was talking to somebody about us probably getting money to help with giving kids a job if they're involved in gangs. I know that we had Job Corps growing up, but I don't want to keep sending kids out somewhere to fix them. Like, why can't they work right here in our community and build the community up around them so that they have and they feel a vested interest in it? So we definitely got some work to do with that. I mean, we advocate a lot for a lot of money. We always talk about how we're in one of the highest impoverished cities in the nation, and the money never seems to trickle down to those that are building up those statistics. It just is frustrating for me, and that's why I feel like I'm hoping that more of our generation starts to get involved in politics. I tell people all the time, it's very boring. It's very boring, but it's something that's so necessary, because if we're talking about controlling money, that's where money starts at.
The P word.
Don't worry, I'm not running for no political.
Oh, that's what you say now.
That's what everybody's trying to push now.
My thing
People
is,
trying to push me. I'm good.
Have you guys
Leave that to her.
How to change the situation sometimes is going to the people that the kids look up to, meaning more or less like KHADIJA, for example. She's in the community. She's at the party. She knows certain people. You know what I'm saying? So when it comes down to that adult situation, she knows who the major players are when it comes to street politics. So when you bring some of because it's not all the street guys want to see these kids acting a fool. Because sometimes it's not good for business. You know what I'm saying? So when I was growing up, and I didn't grow up in this community, I grew up in New York. So when I was growing up and we were playing both sides of the streets as well as going to school, because I had no choice. You know what I'm saying? It came down to street guys that used to tell us, you don't want this life. And a lot of them were family members, like my uncles and them. They used to like, you better be in school. Don't let us catch you on the block, because when they catch you on the block, it's going to be a problem. And it came down to it that what they were calling now your OG, they were basically telling us, they knew what we were doing. They knew what we was up to, but they wouldn't allow us to do it, because they used to tell us a kid's place is a kid's place. Don't play these adult games, because it's messy out here in the street.
And that's what we're missing.
And that's the thing, is that a lot of these kids, there's a lot of snitching and all that going on, because they don't know, they're playing a position that they're faking a position. So they seen other kids doing it, and they're getting dragged along with it to the point when they get knocked in something, now they telling everybody, because they don't know about the life. They know about the fun parts until the hard parts with his death, jail, and all that stuff. So if you bring in certain guys that has played that certain situation for a while, and now that they're changing their life around little by little, it's like a little mentorship for them. So, people don't look at that as, everybody look at these guys as washed and this, or even guys that's within the life but it's coming out slowly but surely. People don't look at them, and I see a lot of them, and a lot of them are good guys till they get pushed to a point.
That's actually a really good point. So when you talk about growing up and being street smart versus book smart, you just said the term, you said street politics. And I will call, what we do behind the scenes book politics, and you gotta have both of those. And so, the reason I'm saying that is because when I first got on in January, I had probably 20 plus people that reached out to me that were ex-cons or that were living a street life, and they said, I gotta get in front of these kids because I can't get my life back, and I just really want to let them know. But it's unfortunate because a lot of times with people in positions of power that can bring those people in to get in front of our kids, they don't have that street mentality of this is an effective way. They're just thinking about, oh, we don't want those type of people around our kids because they don't understand the culture. Those are the ones that you want. Yes, they're not connected to the community, so they don't understand what is going to get through to our children. And so that's another reason why I'm like getting the right representation to really change and make some bold moves is so important. So I'm gonna start using that street politics because I'm gonna start letting them know what's up.
Like for example, what I see with I hear a lot of stuff with the police and all of that, but what's missing is police athletics, that the police are literally engaging with, the kids, not engaging just because, okay, we see you on the street, we're going to get you off the street, or we know who you are, and we're going to basically just put the clinch on you because we know who you are.
Yeah. So you mean like some sports games or just coming around kids just having fun? But
that's when I was growing up, we used to play basketball against the cops. Yeah. We used to enjoy beating them because we know once we saw you on the block, we're gonna be like
what's up?
Yeah, right. What it is, and they're gonna be like, all right.
And
that's our culture. Like we love talking junk. We love being.
They be like, well, the next game it ain't gonna be easy.
That's right.
So we're gonna be like, well, y'all old people or whatever. But we used to talk to each other, but not in the way of engaging too much in violence. Like they used to come to the park and be like, yo, after a certain time, don't let us come back here because we come back here and be like, you know what, man, let's just go, man.
Those things are being done on a smaller scale. So you do have your cops playing with your football, and stuff like that. You do have that on a smaller scale, but getting it into a bigger perspective, definitely. But safety, right? We can plan all these events and we can want all this big stuff, but if we know it's not going to be safe, what is the point? So the number one priority right now is safety and getting to the young people and let them know they're loved. So many of our young people don't feel respected, appreciated, loved. They don't have anyone at home rooting them on. They don't have anyone saying, I love you. They don't have anyone to say, you're going to make it. What they hear is you're going to be just like your daddy. You ain't going to be nothing. Just and what they see, my God, what they see is, it's like, I as an adult can be traumatized by some of the stuff that they see. Listen, we lose our peers, we lose our family members, and we're traumatized. And I'm about to be 34 years old. You have a 7-year-old using their friend of being murdered? You expect them to get through that by themselves? On top of not having the proper guidance to really push them through, and you wonder why they're acting up. Baby, they lost and they broken. So more so, we have to address the trauma. Right. Before we address anything, we have to address the trauma not only from kids but to adults. We have hidden trauma. I'm an advocate of I was depressed and nobody knew it. People probably don't understand my story and know the hell I've been through. But I was depressed and nobody knew it because I would be in your face smiling. I'd be hosting an event. I'd be DJing. And it was only probably one or two that really knew what I was going through until I said, KHADIJA, you have to stop hiding behind this facade and understand you're never going to be happy until you talk about it. My brother was murdered. I lost my mother. I lost my daddy. I was raped. There was so many elements that I had buried inside of me, but I was afraid to talk about it because as a community, we don't discuss this stuff. Right. So you got this times 100 things going on in our community and our kids don't know how to talk about it. They're broken. They're hurt. So they're going to lash out. And the first gang that showed them the simplest, hey, come over here and join us. We love you. Yes. They're running to it.
Yes.
You make a real good point, Kay. And I want to follow up on that because I want parents to understand that, you should be the first role model for your children, but it's okay if you can't cover all bases. Like when I think about my daughter and the gaps that I need to have filled, yes, I want to be her role model, but I want to make sure that if I can't do something, she's around other adults that can fill in those gaps, and that's okay because that's village talk. Right. So when you're saying like nobody really addressed your depression or what you were going through, I want people to feel encouraged. It's okay to ask for help.
It's okay.
It's okay. It's definitely okay to ask for help.
We didn't know, but we don't know as a community, and that's one of the biggest events that I'm going to be playing is a mental health conference.
Mental health.
And we don't understand that it's okay. We look shunned up on. You look crazy. You're crazy if you say that you're depressed. You're crazy if you're going through something. And it's so many of us, y'all, we could tell. We could tell that you ain't got it together or you going through something. People probably could tell with me if you really paid attention, but sometimes you don't take the time to really pay attention. And that's what it is with our kids. We don't take the time to really pay attention. Little boo-boo not acting up because he want to. Little boo-boo hungry. He probably getting beat at home. His mom probably doing so, you know what I'm saying? It's just like, it ain't the fact that he just want to beat her acting up. What is the situation? What's going on in his life? Ask the question. Ask and that's one thing Natalie and I are planning in the next few weeks.
Don't be putting no time.
You still got more press to do.
It's a youth forum. Yeah, it's a youth forum. And hearing from the kids.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I've already started to begin to deploy kids in gangs, top gangs. And he told me, Miss KHADIJA, I'm going to talk, but I can't talk in front of the police. We can go in my office.
Well, that's the biggest major things with them.
Getting the gang.
Yeah. So it's more or less, them engaging other kids.
That's right.
A lot of times, like you said, KHADIJA, people go through things, and nobody to talk to. So that's basically it. It's like seeing it's like seeing war, and being on the street is like seeing war.
Yeah.
And you come out of that. When you come out, you're not going to be the same.
Right.
Because a lot of our veterans are, have mental issues.
Mental.
PSD.
PTSD. Post-traumatic syndrome. And with kids, it's just like adults. Okay, Esther, shout out Beauty and Blaze. I'm going. She gonna give me a table, right? So, it's like I'm going to respect Esther's show as Beauty and Blaze because she's one of the dopest hairdressers here. I'm going to respect as a young person that Jaquan is changing his life, and he was one of the biggest drug dealers and biggest gangbangers. The moment we get to that man that's the leader in that gang and in that group is the moment our transition change with young people, right? Peer-to-peer relation is everything. As an adult, we can speak to them till they blue in the face. Until they see the transformation within the kids and the teenagers is when that transformation change. I forgot that I'm educated. People don't know that I have a degree. So more so, once you see that, once you see that transformation in peer-to-peer is when it's really going to change.
Right.
We can guide, we can talk, we can offer class, this. But the moment that the kids begin to model the behavior amongst other kids is when it's going to light up.
And it happens now. Like my mom can tell me something until she's blue in the face. And until I hear from one of my peers, I'm like, Mom, but she said this. I've been saying that all this time. But it came from you though.
It's different.
It's different.
Don't do it.
As adults, we still go through that. So that is essential right there. Targeting peers. That peer-to-peer relationship is essential. So man, listen, we're gonna take a little break. You guys gonna stick around?
Yeah, we can stick around.
Somewhere you got
I gotta come to another show right after this.
Yeah,
gotta stick around.
Yes, this is the Rundown. Your girl Racqui B. Stay locked in. Oh yeah. Now tuned into the Rundown with your girl Racqui B each and every Monday right here, 100.9 FM from 4 to 6. Whew. It's almost time to wrap up. I got with me the school board, the commissioner of the school board, Miss Natalie Sheppard.
Hey.
And our community activist herself, Miss KHADIJA YAWN.
We lit. Turn up. I'm thinking about my baby Dwayne.
Don't take us.
And if you're just tuning in, I hope you're not just tuning in. If you're just tuning in, we're talking about the unfortunate incident that happened at the football game between East and Wilson. And that big brawl occurred, and all these young kids, we're just fighting, and we're just trying to see how we're going to change it. How can we change that? Is it too late?
No.
Is it too late? Are we already tarnished as a community where this change can't occur even if we wanted to? Is it too late?
So one thing that frustrates me about someone saying it's too late.
Oh,
so
okay.
I've heard.
So you frustrated? Okay.
No, for someone who says that it is too late, because it's not.
Right.
So
okay.
we have politicians out there that will speak about these generations as being lost generations. That frustrates me to my core, because we still have an obligation to do something. Why? Because they still are in our community. So we'll never be detached. It can never be too late. I remember a couple months ago when I was in Albany advocating, and I'm sitting here advocating for kids that probably are about to be out of our school district in another year or two, and it's completely out of control, but you advocate for them the same,
right?
The exact same. Only because if you're talking about being a human, or you're talking about about raising up kids, they are going to be shopping at the same stores, living on the same streets as you. Like, how can you say that this is just a lost generation? You got to do all you can whenever you can. Yeah. So I definitely do not think it's too late.
Now, we will get in the mindset to feel that it's too late. I'm not going to say I never felt that, because I did. There was a moment in within the last few years where I felt, man, I don't know if it can change. It's gotten so bad.
Right.
But you have to you have to regroup yourself, and you have to understand that you got to take it one step at a time. And we look for major drastic change, right? This is not an overnight thing. This is a generational curse. This ain't, these kids fighting. We talk about we fought. Right, it's just getting worse. Right. But this is not an overnight stance. So it's gonna take time, but you plant the seeds and you hope they grow. You know, and you just try and continue to water them so that they do grow. But, you know, once we get in the mindset to understand that it's gonna take everybody, if we're hitting them enough and it take everybody, we had 100 and something people in our life, if I can get 40.
Right.
To really come out and really be, you know how much noise alone that can make? One person can make some noise. 2 people can make more noise, but 40?
Right.
It's like, well, it's the inevitable. It's something gotta happen.
Right.
Something gotta happen. And you're genuine, and I tell people all the time, be genuine in your approach. I've had people hit me that I know hit me only because they're trying to push their agenda. I got this program I've been working on for 40 years. Back before Christ. And I think that we should implement it, you know. Baby, what's your real Mac? What's your real heart at? Because that's not what we're looking for. Right. We're looking for individuals to work this train and have a heart. We're not trying to push no agenda. Like I told people the other day, this ain't a Rock Royal thing. This ain't a KHADIJA thing. This is a community effort. Yes, Rock Royal may be the forefront because that's my company. That's what I'm known for. But outside of that, when Nat and I met, I said, I don't want Rock Royal on nothing. I don't want KHADIJA on nothing. You know what I'm saying? Or any flyer or anything we do, I don't want it. This is not my thing. This is a community approach.
Yes.
I could be a leader in the approach, but this is a community approach. So don't come to me with your agendas. No, this is not the time. You can pay me later to help you consult. After we done with this, I'm charging you now to consult. But you know, this is not, and that's not even my fault. I had so many events planned that I done put to the back burner. I was tossing them out my schedule. All right, can't do this. We'll be doing this day, because this is my first priority. This is money that I'm turning away. But this is my first priority. This is my mission.
And I think, Racqui, too, that the question is so important about is it too late? Because it starts getting people to think. And I just want to keep it real with folks that you will go through stages of being so discouraged. Just like Kay just said. Right. You'll be so discouraged, and that's a natural order of things. Right. So you're going to be hyped one minute, and then you might get beat down. But to have people thinking about, is it too late? Is it too late? Nah, it's never too late. But I do got to take a little break. I want people to be real and understand what they're going through and know that those emotions are going to come. Yeah. But then on the other side of those emotions, you get right back into the work. Yep. You pick yourself right back up.
I asked that question because when we took the break, I was thinking, like, where would you start? And I got so overwhelmed with just thinking about it. I'm like, okay, is it too late? Because
like,
who are we going to target?
You thought about that for that break. I think about that every day. Think about the overwhelming.
You stressed out.
I think about that every day.
That's why you lost all that weight.
Yeah, and I gained it right back. Prednisone. Right? But you think about that as an individual. A lot of people say, community activist, I just say I'm KHADIJA. But more so, when you're deeply embedded in this, you think Sunday I couldn't sleep. I was up. The little shorty was like, you gonna go to sleep? I'm like, I can't. It kept playing, that boy Gash kept playing in my mind. And I was like, I can't sit back and just allow this. And guess what? No matter how much I stand, it may not change nothing at this particular moment, but at least we're trying.
Right.
That's all we can do is try.
Yep. And you know what's interesting about that too, Racqui? You saying like, well, dang, where do I even start? You know what I'm saying? Like, so, like, people might come out thinking they gotta be a superhero. You ain't gotta save the whole world, but if you start in one person at a time, or one group at a time, or one section at a time, that's good enough.
Yep.
Like, I don't want people to get into this work feeling like they just gonna take on everything and save everything. Cause I actually used to be there, and it's it's not a fun place to be where you don't have a life. Like you here, there. Taking it one step at a time, and like, but that feeling is so overwhelming because we do want things to happen
just
like that.
Still.
You know what I'm saying? Just as quick as I click this.
You're the school board commissioner. As a school board commissioner, you have a life?
She don't got no life.
I'm just asking.
Not at all. Not at all, people. No.
I was about to say, my kid is in your district.
No. It's always school.
So how do do you think that it can be effective if we target the teachers as well? Can teachers make the change within their classroom?
They have to.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that there's so many different parts. Were you going to ask another question?
Go ahead. No, go ahead. Yeah.
So I think that there are so many different parts, and when we talk about teachers, we think about who our kids are in front of the most during the week is a teacher. And so I always used to say, and I hope I don't get in trouble for this, but the most important relationship, I think even above parents at a point where they're in school, is the teacher and student, because that is where they are at all day long.
And I don't care if I do get in trouble. Some of these teachers don't care.
They don't. And I was about to say that.
And I can say that I ain't on no school board. Whatever. I don't care. They don't care.
That's right. That's
they don't care. That's me talking. That ain't Miss Sheppard. She loves the teachers. Right? But some of them don't. And that's with any profession. You get into a place now where it's not so much that they didn't even care. A lot of them could be fed up. A lot of them could be overwhelmed. You got, just like we said, you thought about it for 2 seconds. They think about it every day for 300, how many days? 6 months out of the year. Right? So it's more so, we have to support our teachers too.
Right.
Especially the ones that really do want to do the work.
That's a great point. Support the teachers, because if you think about them being overwhelmed, them being burnt out, they're doing this times how many kids in the class? 20, 23. Everybody comes with a whole set of circumstances that they got to deal with. So support your teachers.
Well,
support them. I'm a big supporter.
Some of the parents should,
especially the ones that care,
should go in the classroom and see, because I've been on a couple of field trips with my kid, and they gave me like 4 kids. And I'm like,
he's like, I've never been a teacher.
I'm like, yo, y'all lucky y'all ain't my kid. Like, I'm ready to wring other people's kids' neck, and I'm like, yo, you gotta hold back because and the teacher was like, thank you so much. I'm like, nah.
I'm never coming back.
I'm like, y'all hear that? He's talking about 4 kids.
Nah, but see, my son suck at me all the time coming back. He's like, they really like you, Dad. I'm like, I didn't like that. I'm like,
he's talking about 4. We're dealing with hundreds and hundreds of kids.
I'm like, how could a teacher deal with like 12 or even 36 of these kids?
Because you better get ready.
It's a tough job.
It's a tough job. So even as a parent, you're judging them for doing their job, but at the same time, you're sending the kids that you probably don't even want to deal with to them. So how can you judge them on that same level?
That's right.
You know what I'm saying? So it's both sides. So the teachers and the parents have to communicate, and as a parent, you still have to like give the teacher the benefit of the doubt. Like, probably my kid is really acting up. Not, oh, you better not do it, and then coming at the teacher like,
All right. So as we got 1 more minute left, in that minute from both of you, what is the first step? What's the first step you're gonna take?
You want me to go first?
Yeah, go ahead.
The first step, I'm gonna pray about it, and I'm gonna ask God to lead me. That's number 1. I'm a woman of faith, so I'm gonna pray about it, and I'm gonna ask God to really understand what it is the purpose, and how I can help change in this process. That's my first step.
And so my first step is having people join in and be unified. So first of all, we all got to be on the same page. So my first step is making sure that communication is going out, that people understand what's happening, what their call to action is, so that we're on one united front.
Both of them steps gonna make it.
Yes. Amen.
Racqui, what's your first step? You want to help?
My first step is to post this video.
yes, ma'am.
So we can push this.
Yeah.
And we can make this happen.
My boy Kyran, that's my dog right there. I'm still waiting for my back to school video. But
listen, it was a great show.
I know he's still waiting for your back to school. He's supervising now. Now he's like, excuse me, ma'am.
I know.
That's not correct. That's not correct. We do not say our ABCs like that. Shout out to my boy.
I want to thank the both of you. I know your schedules are crazy busy, and I want to thank the both of you for coming out.
Thank you. Stopping
by. I really appreciate it. Really appreciate it.
Let me tell y'all, Rocky's face, she's so sincere right now.
I'm so sincere.
Like, she about to cry.
I'm so sincere. Like, I really appreciate it, because you guys are like pillars in the community, so I really appreciate that. And you know what? I'll be here again, same time, same place. Monday is the rundown.
Rundown. Turn up.